Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I like to discuss why Donald Trump, for the second time since becoming president again, has turned the Oval Office into a gladiatorial arena for a visiting world leader. With Zelensky, you may have imagined it was to exert some pressure to help his pals in Russia, get his mineral deal. Same logic doesn't quite hold for President Ramaphosa of South Africa. So why did Trump lay this second and much more obvious ambush? But first, for daily news and commentary, please hit the subscribe button to stay notified. So Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa visited the White House yesterday, and Trump ambushed him with claims of genocide against white South Africans. Now, this isn't new, hasn't come out. They've even accepted asylum claims from Afrikaners, right? Now, being clear, if it wasn't obvious to anyone even remotely connected with the world, this is not happening. Elon Musk, America's most famous illegal immigrant, was of course in attendance, smirking for the cameras. He'd been instrumental in pushing this conspiracy theory of black against white violence in South Africa. And I don't even know if it's worth considering whether Trump genuinely believes it or not. Trump doesn't care about people who are not himself. There are actual genocides taking place around the world. He doesn't care. He didn't care about Syria's genocide before the fall of Assad. He doesn't care about those in Darfur or Gaza. You know, if it's only the genocide of white folk he cares about, well, he's positively helped Russia carry theirs out in Ukraine. He doesn't even care about Uyghurs in China, and he's got a real beef with China. And given that South Africa tends to align with Trump's mate Vlad on quite a few issues, I'm not sure Trump is even doing it specifically for geopolitical reasons. Seems to me to have been for some other purpose. Now, for those who don't know, Ramaphosa met with the Orange One in the White House only for Trump to produce some printouts of something he claimed showed white genocide, and then a film purporting to do the same. Ramaphosa, of course, didn't know what to make of it, even seemed to remark at one point, I don't know what you're showing me or where it is, right? Could have been pictures of anywhere or anything. He said, well, could you tell me where this is supposed to be, please? Mind you, there was no great bust-up, as happened with Zelensky. Ramaphosa might have talked about the actual genocide happening in the USA with school shootings. I mean, there's a lot of violent crime in South Africa, of course. It's still an incredibly uneven society. But the vast majority, as Ramaphosa pointed out, of the victims are black. But he otherwise kept his cool, thinking, I imagine that, well, an argument's only going to play into Trump's hands here. But the particular arguments seem fairly pointless. Trump didn't do this because South Africa has a white genocide problem. Like I say, it doesn't even matter if Trump believes it or not. He wouldn't care if he did. He's transactional, remember. Why is he frustrated at Netanyahu? Because people are dying? No, because the invasion of Gaza isn't profitable. After all, I don't think he's even mentioned Sudan, in common with quite a few other so-called anti-genocide campaigners. But that's because he sees no great profit there in peacetime or war, I guess. Seems to me that Trump orchestrated this grotesque spectacle purely for the drama. Like with Zelensky, Trump wanted the mineral deal without supporting Ukraine against his BFF. You could imagine the ambush of the Ukrainian president was designed to benefit Trump in that way. But the much more obvious ambush of the South African president doesn't seem to bring any obvious benefits to Trump, or even America more generally. Trump doesn't seem to be after anything which is helped by triggering a row with the government. Now, under normal circumstances, and some of you may have already gone, Phil, it's about this. You may imagine that Trump is doing this as revenge for the way South Africa has been pursuing Israel in the international courts over its actions in Gaza, actions which are increasingly losing support for Israel internationally, including with American public opinion and when it comes to Israeli public opinion. And Trump has sought to make an example of South Africa for doing this, cutting aid, although he's done that everywhere, expelling its ambassador, threatening to stay away from the G20, which is in South Africa this year. So, you know, the obvious one surely is it makes sense that Trump would also seek to go on the attack in this more escalated public way, wouldn't it? But Trump has shown little interest in supporting the atrocities in Gaza himself lately for commercial reasons. The British government have been arguing against Israel in the International Court of Justice the day after the American lawyers were trying to speak in their defence. Trump didn't rage at our government for doing that. So it cannot be a simple case of Trump wanting to crush all legal objections to what Israel's doing, as seemed to be the case earlier this year. So South Africa's objections to Israel's behaviour in Gaza, I'm not sure quite fit the spectacle we saw in the Oval Office anymore for me. Maybe a factor, because it's a continuation, but I don't think it's an adequate explanation in itself. If what Trump expected to get out of it was some benefit to Israel, not only is it not clear how he would achieve that, but given that others are pursuing Israel in the ICJ, without suffering Trump's wrath doesn't seem to fit. It's possible that Trump no longer cares what South Africa is doing, but that Musk and others still want to push it. You know, Musk in particular, his own personal revenge for the end of apartheid and white rule. There are a lot of white supremacists around Trump who may still feel mileage in this white genocide culture war. The spectacle would definitely have pleased those around him. In fact, several of them would have been in the room. A case of a white president, sort of, orange, near enough, calling out a black president for racist violence. Oh, JD's sofa will be sticky tonight. Everything Trump done is designed to benefit in some way. Everything he does is for his benefit. In the absence of anything obviously commercial, and because the geopolitical situation seems to have shifted a bit, that suggests to me that the benefit he sought was drama. Something that would be good for the news to sink its teeth into. He wouldn't have known that some idiot was going to do that for him by murdering Israeli embassy staff, triggering more support for Israel in America, because that'll help Palestinians. Well done, brains. They've now made it easier for Trump to target liberals on the pretext of them being pro-Palestinian terrorists. Excellent work. But Trump wouldn't have known about that as he prepared and sprang his ambush, of course. I think it was just for the television and headlines. And he certainly got them. Browsing some of the major US news outlets, you can see quite a few of them producing multiple articles all on the same thing, all quite prominent on their front pages. You know, I've seen, quite a few of them making it clear that Trump's claims are false, but they're still reporting on it. And it is therefore filling up a lot of the bandwidth on their pages, which makes you wonder what news Trump was trying to push down the list of priority. The progress of a bill designed to cut taxes, making the deficit worse. The news that European stock markets are doing way better than American ones thanks to Trump's reckless actions last month. The growing number of cases of federal judges finding the White House are breaking the law and then breaking court orders. Or maybe Trump just produced this mother of all dead cats purely for the sake of habit. Maybe there isn't any particular news he's keen to distract people from. It's all part of his general need to make sure he decides the news topics. And of course, the bigger and the messier the dead cat, the better. It's partly why I keep saying that Starmer should absolutely do something similar to capture the news in the UK. Not invite world leaders to be rude to them, quite the reverse. Invite the press in to give them the news you want reported that day. If Labour feel the need to rant at an enemy of the state, then instead of trans people or migrants, maybe the enemy of choice could be greedy water company executives or Russian kleptocrats. The government are actually taking action against both of those. Get the news to report on that. Because that's what I think Trump's doing here. I think it's drama. It's not so much that he particularly wants to abuse South Africa. There might be a little bit of a hint of that from people around him. I think it's just that he doesn't care. He obviously doesn't see a relationship with South Africa as being all that profitable. So he thinks he can throw it away for the sake of a few cheap headlines. I think that's what it is, so that he controls the news cycle. Now, obviously, it's way easier for Trump to do that because he can just make up fake outrage. But the general principles do work even within the confines of the truth. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, please click the like button and subscribe for further content. If you'd like to support the channel further, you can click the join button for memberships. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.